The Moorish entered the Iberian Peninsula at 711. They stayed in the area more than 500 years, and they had great influences in the several areas in the peninsula. They were seen as invaders, and over time their culture are mostly devalued and destroyed, but we can still the signs of transformation of the culture from that era. Today, it's known that the Moorish effect in Iberian Peninsula is immense. They brought some Chinese invasion due to trade rails like compass and paper. Cultural effect is mostly seen in the south of Portugal, in the cities like Lisbon, Faro and Évora. But also in Porto, the effect is immense. The Arabic art in Portugal is partly inspired from Persian culture. It is really important not to confuse the Arab art / the Moorish art and the Neo-Arab art, which is a contemporary art style of the 19th century. The old warehouse in Porto is a Neo-Arab architectural example. It is constructed in 1901 and it was a warehouse for the tiles and for the showcase and selling them. Also, it was used as a display factory of ceramics. Right now it's used as a restaurant. It has arabesque motifs. It is totally covered with tiles and it has red, white, yellow and blue tiles. Materials of the building are granite, wood, tile and iron. Wheel at the top is representing the industry with the woman figure on it. There is a helmet with wings who is representing the god of merchants and thieves, Hermes, the Greek god. Also, the symbol is really popular around Porto because Porto is a city of merchants. This is the identity of the city. Church of Senhora da Conceição, built between 1938 and 1947. Among other styles, it is influenced by Mozarab and it is also inspired by Byzantine and Arab arts. Arabs influenced the architecture all over the peninsula. Some of the best known examples being Alhambra in Granada or the Royal Alcazar in Seville. This church is one of a kind in Porto because it has a minaret-like tower next to it. Even centuries after the Islamic period, Neo-Arabic style started to be used during the 19th century and today it's widely spread in Portugal. The blue tiles, with its Portuguese name azulejos. It is used as a decorative element starting from the earliest times of Islamic art. It has been brought by Moorish to Spain and then to Portugal by Portuguese kings. Portuguese people did not invent the tile itself, but used it in an original way starting from 5-6 centuries ago. It's brought to Portugal from Spain in the end of the 15th century and used in all types of architecture. More tiles meant more richness in the society. The hand of Fatima. Fatima was one of the daughters of the Prophet Muhammad, and she was born in Mecca. Date not exactly known, but guessed around 605-606, and she died at Medina in 632. She was married to Ali, the first man who became Muslim after Muhammad himself. There is even a story between Muhammad and Fatima which shows the connection between them. When Muhammad felt ill, Fatima was really sad because of the deep connection between her and his father. She cried, but he comforted her and she smiled. After his death, Aisha, who is one of Muhammad's wives, asked Fatima what he told her. According to Fatima, he sensed his death was near by the often visits of the angel Gabriel, and she would be the first person in the family after him to join him in the paradise, which she did. Fatima is seen as a model of Muslim woman with her religious virtues and moral. She was called the Lady of Light. Also, the name of Fatima is very common among the Muslim women. It is believed that this talisman is a protection from the evil eye itself. Also, it's a talisman which is used in Judaism, called the Hand of Miriam. Guimarães Pérez. He was born in 820 and died in 873. He was sent to reconquer and secure the area from Minho River to Douro River from Moorish people, including the city of Porto, later on Porto and Gaia, which emerged the name of Portugal. The word Portus comes from the Latin and it means harbor. On 868, he reconquered the city of Porto from the Moors. This was a Christian settlement before the Moorish invasion, so that's why it is called Reconquest. This was a milestone event, but Portugal did not achieve its independence until the 12th century. He expelled the Moors and created a town under his name, which is present-day Guimarães, and he died there. That's why people from Guimarães are called Vimaranes. At 1968 was the date was the statue was brought to its place. Sé do Porto, as other name Cathedral of Porto. It might be considered as a meeting point of the three big religions, Christianity, Islam and Judaism. As examples, blue tiles are from the Islamic art, star from front, which is the seal of Solomon, and being a Christian cathedral. About the boat sign, it represents about the influence of the ocean and trade. Cathedrals date back to the 12th century and there are mixes of styles because as the time went by, expansion was needed and the changes were done accordingly to the tastes of the century. There are Baroque facades, Romanesque towers and Gothic rose window. It was completed in 1738. Blue tiles were added between 1729 to 1731. Also snakes in front, they represent the first sin and temptation. Basically, this means leave your sins outside when you're entering to the cathedral. Also, cathedral is fortified. It has a military character, not just a religious character, because the city of Porto had no walls. And the measures at the side of the entrance were used for the trades. There were markets in front of the cathedral back at the time. Casa Museu de Genqueiro is one of the places that you can see the strong Moorish influence in Porto. In this place, collector never lived here, but his daughter did about 50 years, and at 1940 she gave the place to the town hall to make it a museum. This place is really famous with its Hispano-Arabic ceramics between the 15th and the 16th century, which are made by ceramic and gold. The Museum of Pharmacy is one of the examples that shows the Islamic culture in Porto. During the Islamic period in Iberian Peninsula, medicine was influenced by Arabs. Among other things, they contributed to the improvement of forceps and recognition of psychiatric diseases. They also discovered that diseases could be transmitted by air. Furthermore, they contributed to the development of successful ophthalmology surgery. They are also responsible of rescuing the medical knowledge of the classical antiquity. This is worth mentioning Avicenna, of Arab origin, who was one of the fathers of the early modern medicine. The Infante Dom Henrique was called the Navigator. It was thanks to the Moorish people that the Portuguese got in contact with instruments very useful to navigation, the triangular sails and the compass. Probably the discoveries of the world would have never existed if it wasn't for the Moorish people having brought this knowledge to Portuguese people. In one of the trademarks in Porto, in Palácio da Bolsa, there is a place called Salão Árabe, the Arab Room. This place shows the exchange of cultures and openness of Porto. Porto was a city of international trade. There were trades with Nordic, British, and especially with Arabs. This place started to build in 1862 and completed in 1880. Inside of the place, in Arabic, there is written Allah, Allah above all, and may Allah protect the Queen Maria II, who gave the land for the palace to build for the stock exchange. Also, its entrance door is in a little in the left side, because the only God himself can be perfect, and this place cannot. All the work has been done by Portuguese artists. Decorative shapes are mostly wood and stucco, and all the yellow that you can see is the gold leaf. It is interesting because the palace itself is for trade and business, and there is no other religious elements except Islam. Also, having a rich saloon like this in Porto is not usual because Porto was not a city of nobles. There was a rule, even Porto, that says no noble can stay more than 3 days. This Arab room is a replica of the Alhambra Palace in Cordoba, but the ones who built it never were at Alhambra. There was a correspondence of letters to build it. The Iberian Peninsula was deeply influenced between the 8th and the 15th century. Agriculture was improved by the usage of extremely large-scale systems of irrigation. For instance, they used gravity-fed canals and the irrigation canal network was greatly enlarged. The sakia, or animal-powered irrigation wheel, was probably introduced to the Iberian Peninsula in early Umayyad times. They also brought some crops and products such as rice, coffee, or citrus. Porto wine is very well known all around the world, but it wouldn't be the same without the Moorish influence. Why? Although wine was already being made in the peninsula, the Moorish brought many improvements in the way grapes were cultivated and perfected winemaking techniques. One of the most important places in Porto, the Dom Luís Bridge, is the place that connects Porto and Gaia. Gaia was an important stronghold for the Moorish people back in the time. There is even a legend that mentions about the Moorish presence in the area, which is also believed that one of the people in this legend gave the name to its place. Long time ago, there was a Galician king named Ramiro, married to a very beautiful queen called Gaia. South of the river was ruled by the Moorish king Alborzar. One day, King Alborzar sees Gaia and falls in love with her. He was so in love that he was thinking the ways of bringing her to his castle. One night, he kidnapped her and bring her to the south of Douro. When King Ramiro returns, he gets the news and goes to get to his wife back. He gets to the south of river with his men, but disguised as a pilgrim, because the Moorish people were so strong back then. He carries a horn with him, and he told his men to stand down for now, and when he blew the horn, they would come out. In there, he meets a servant of the queen, a Moorish girl named Ortiga. He asks her to take his ring and give it to Gaia. When Gaia sees the ring, he tells her servant to bring the pilgrim to her. Gaia sees Ramiro, and since Alborzar was arriving to the castle, she hid him. Then when Alborzar arrived, Gaia asked him what would he do if he sees Ramiro. Alborzar answers that he would kill him because Ramiro will do the same. Queen tells that Ramiro is there, and in that moment Ramiro blew his horn and his men came and saved him. They killed Alborzar and all of his men. They ran back to boats and Ramiro takes Gaia with him. She was crying in the boat and Ramiro asked her why she was crying. She said that she's crying because of the death of his love, Alborzar. Enraged by the answer, Ramiro tied her to a rock and told her, "Look, Gaia, look one last time," and he pushed her down to the waters of Douro. In the field of astronomy, Moorish people improved the astrolabe, among other instruments, and they found many different uses for it, like astronomy, navigation, and timekeeping. Many important texts were also written during this period, which new findings and theories that were still used many centuries after can be found. For example, Al-Battani was cited by Copernicus, and Ibn al-Safar influenced Johannes Kepler. Fado is a typical Portuguese music genre. Although its origins are difficult to trace, it's believed to be influenced by the Moorish presence in the peninsula. A number of musical instruments used are believed to be brought by the Moorish to the Iberian Peninsula. Instruments that were essential or the creation of some modern instruments like violin or the guitar, the latter being an essential part in Fado.